Hey, welcome everybody to the 59th annual Eagle Scout Banquet for the Chief Seattle Council. And to all of you Eagle Scouts, congratulations on an incredible achievement of earning your Eagle. You know, just to kind of put it into perspective, only about 2% of the young men and soon to be young women that start in Scouts actually progress all the way to be an Eagle. It is a really elite group of individuals, and I wish we were all together, because my favorite aspect of this banquet every year is I get a chance to look over this room of the people who I think are going to be the future, political leaders, the future community leaders, the future business leaders. There's something about the grit and there's something about the determination that it takes to become an Eagle Scout that I think is one of the most unique things about this community. By way of introduction, my name is Brad Anderson. I've had the honor of chairing the committee for the Eagle Scouts for some time now, for a few years. For my day job, I work at Microsoft and I get a chance to lead engineering teams, but I'm a proud Eagle Scout from the class of 1982. There are very few things that I have left from my childhood, but let me show you a couple of things here. This right here is my Eagle neckerchief from Troop 66. I earned that in Utah in 1982. It's one of my prized possessions. For many years, I've kind of had this, I guess it'd be called in some ways a challenge, in some ways an asset, but this overachiever piece inside of me. When I was a Scout, I earned 75 merit badges. And so here's my actual sash that shows, the front side of it, and I still have part on the back side, but I love Scouts. Scouting was part of my life from the time that I was very, very young. I was a Scoutmaster for more than 15 years, and I absolutely love it. First, I want to thank our sponsors. Alaska Airlines, Microsoft, Triad. Your contributions, your donations are so incredibly important for us in the Scouting organization. So we want to express our gratitude there. Then I also want to express gratitude to all the members of the Eagle Banquet that have put time and energy on this, not just this year, but for many, many years in the past. You can read the names here. These are individuals who are dedicated to Scouting. They love Scouting. And, it is such an honor and a pleasure for us to be able to put together a program like this. Now, having said that, I wish that we were all together in the same room so we could actually just feel that energy that comes from being an Eagle. And the energy that comes from being a part of Scouting. But first of all, let me give you a little bit of insights into what you're seeing right now. You're using a product from Microsoft called Teams. And let me just give you a couple of data points on some of the things that you can do to interact with us. So you're sitting here looking at a screen. If you take a look on your screen, you should see these 3 dots, as well as you should see the little chat icon next to it. If you click on that chat icon, it'll bring up a chat box over to the right-hand side. You can type in your questions or your comments. And then we have a number of people from the council who will look at those, and we're approving comments and questions to come into the common chat. A bunch of us will be answering that. And the reason we're doing that is, with an event like this, we want to make sure that we have, just a little bit of level of control on what gets published, whether that be, pictures, whether that be chat. But please, throughout the event, I'm going to be asking a couple of trivia questions, like the question I asked a few minutes ago about what was the average age of the Scouts in 2019 when they completed the Eagle. If you didn't get a chance to see that, it was 17.35 years. There was one individual that immediately chimed in with 17.4. That was a heck of a good guess. Here's another interesting couple of data points for you. This year, 2019, the year that we just finished, more Eagles earned the rank than in any year in history. So the largest group of Eagles in history earned it in 2019. Now, here's a question. Where do you think the state of Washington ranked at, 1 to 50, in terms of the number of Eagles that came in? Well, I'll give you the answer. Washington was 14th. Anybody want to guess what was number 1? It was the state of Utah. And the state of Utah was actually 75% bigger than the second state, which was California. But the Western United States by far outpaced the rest of the United States in terms of the number of Eagles that earned it. So with that, please interact with us. To all of those, hopefully we have a bunch of parents, a bunch of Scoutmasters that are listening into this as well. Thank you for all that you do, for the energy and for the dedication that you put into that. And with that, what we'd like to do is we'd like to start with a Pledge of Allegiance. And we've asked Drew Carlson to give us that Pledge of Allegiance. So, Drew, to you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, President Duff. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Thank you. With that, next we'd like to ask Toby to give us the Philmont Grace. Toby, would you do that for us?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone, from the Eagle Scout class of 1970, and thank you for being with us. Now, will you please join me in saluting the great outdoor program of the Boy Scouts of America by reciting the Philmont Grace. For food, for raiment, for life, for opportunity, for friendship and fellowship, we thank thee, O Lord. Amen. Thank you, and Brad, now back to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Toby. You're going to see, everyone's going to see Toby here in a video in a second, but Toby is one of the greatest supporters of Scouts that I've ever had a chance to meet. So Toby, thank you for all that you do. All right, now with that, I'm going to skip out here and give you a view at, sorry about that, at a video of some of our esteemed leaders who wanted to say congratulations to all of you.
Scott Oakey, Eagle Scout from Troop 252 in 1962. I know that's a long time ago. First of all, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you. I remember Lord Baden-Powell, who really invented the scouting movement, and it was all based on values, the Scout Oath and Law. And I still live by the same value structure, as do my sons, Alexander and Nicholas, who are also Eagle Scouts. Congratulations. I hope you live by the Eagle Scout values for a long, long time. Thank you very much.
Ron Smith, Eagle Scout from Troop 103 in Arcadia, California. Congratulations to Chief Seattle's newest Eagle Scouts.
My name is Toby Capps. I serve as the immediate past president of Western Region Area 1. I'm a member of the proud class of 1970 of Eagle Scouts from Troop 2 in Wenatchee, Washington. And I just wanted to join everyone else in saying congratulations to each and every one of you. This is a tremendous accomplishment, and frankly, you have no idea at this point how impactful it's going to be on the rest of your lives. We're so proud of the work that you put into becoming Eagles, and we have big expectations for you. Frankly, there's no other time in our country that I can think of that being an Eagle Scout is more important, and our country needs you now more than ever. So again, congratulations. Thanks for all you do and all that you're going to do.
Let me turn some time over to our chief executive, our chief scout, as well as the chairman of the board for the Seattle Council. So Mike, I'll pass the time over to you for now.
Great. Hey, thanks, Brad. And welcome to everybody, Chief Seattle Council Scouts, volunteers, parents, sponsors. We have a lot of friends out there, I know, that are viewing from all over. And it's great to have our council together again tonight. I'm Mike Quirk. I'm the Scout Executive of Chief Seattle Council, and I can honestly tell you I'm proud to be a Scout, proud to be part of Chief Seattle Council, the finest councils in America. Hey, Brad, thank you, and to all of our friends at Microsoft. You guys are just awesome. A whole lot of planning went into this evening, and appreciate all the help that you guys are helping us with tonight. And to our Eagle Scout sponsors and Wings of Eagle supporters, you're the ones that are making scouting work. So thank you. Hey, I just wanted to briefly let everybody know that the scouting is alive and well and healthy. We're having an impact on thousands of kids, and fellow scouts are still advancing towards Eagle, and and boys and girls are still joining scouting today. So we're doing well. We're missing the outdoor element, but it'll be here before you know it. And during this pandemic, I would tell you that people are going to remember who stood up and came forward to help out, and scouting is that one group that's doing that. Lastly, I'll just tell you that, boy, I just always enjoy this event because, and I go to a lot of scout stuff, trust me, but this is the one that brings together our Eagle Scouts and our community leaders. And what our community leaders and our sponsors are saying very loudly is that they support you and they're on this journey with you and they're here to help you succeed in life. So congratulations to all of you. And it's my pleasure to introduce the president of Chief Seattle Council. He's our head volunteer, Tork Zubek.
Thank you, Mike. And good evening, everyone. Thank you, Brad, for hosting this evening. And I'm really excited to be here tonight to share this evening with you guys. This is really my favorite evening of the year. It's a chance to honor our Eagle Scouts and their accomplishments. And the reason why I love this evening is because what I see in these young people is hope for our future. These are young men who have demonstrated competence, character, resilience, and incredible potential. And I know they're going to live lives that will bless our communities, our country, and our world. In our present world situation, it's a prime example of why leadership matters and why character matters. And I'm excited that we have the chance to honor our Eagles tonight, knowing that they will help lead us into the future. So thank you all for joining us virtually this evening. And Brad, I'll turn it back over to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Mike and Tork. You know, this is an interesting experiment for us as we do this for the first time over video. But one of the great things is we get a chance to see a number of our senior elected officials and leaders being able to address everybody. So with that, let me switch over and show you one more video here of a number of key people from our state and from our local area that are excited to congratulate all of you on your Eagle.
Hi, Chief Seattle Council Eagle Scouts. I am Kim Schreier, representative from Washington's 8th Congressional District, and I am so proud of all of you. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, and I'm sorry you don't get to celebrate in an in-person banquet, but you should be so incredibly proud of your accomplishments in service, in learning, in outdoorsmanship. Some of the most incredible leaders in our country have been Eagle Scouts, and so I am looking forward to hearing where your futures take you. Best wishes and congratulations.
I want to congratulate all of the Boy Scouts who have achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Normally, I'm able to attend a few of these ceremonies a year and congratulate all of you in person, but as we know, in these difficult times, as we deal with the pandemic, we're not able to do things the way we normally do. But in no way does that diminish the incredible accomplishment that goes into becoming an Eagle Scout. I was a Boy Scout myself. I did not make it to Eagle Scout, topped out at Star. So I know the challenge, the discipline it takes for young people to achieve the Eagle Scout rank. You are leaders, certainly leaders in your troop, leaders in the Boy Scouts, but you are leaders in our community as well. And as you go forward into the future, you'll be leaders for all of us. We obviously have seen through this pandemic what challenging times can come down on all of us in our communities. We need leaders. We need people who have the discipline and the leadership skills to achieve the Eagle Scout rank. I know you're going to go on and do great things for our community. Congratulations on this terrific accomplishment for you and, of course, for your families that are a key part of whatever we accomplish. So congratulations, and I look forward to your leadership now and going forward into the future.
I'm Dow Constantine, King County Executive and Eagle Scout, Troop 793, West Seattle, 1980. Congratulations, Eagles, on a job well done. All of your perseverance, your hard work have paid off in achieving the highest rank in scouting. But of course, this is only the beginning. Scouting is preparation for your transition into adulthood, where you're going to bring not only the lessons of hard work, of being part of a team, of earning the right to lead, but also the values of scouting as expressed in the Scout Law. And you will take that Scout Law and use it as as a yardstick against which to measure your progress as an adult. Have you lived up to those ideals? What can you do tomorrow to be a better person? I believe in scouting, and I believe the lessons that you have learned are going to not only make you more successful, but make our community and our nation better. So thank you for taking on the challenge and for sticking with it till the end. And congratulations, Eagles, on a job well done.
It's great to hear from these individuals. And again, I think this is one of the remarkable things about having to make changes. Sorry. It's great to hear from these leaders. And I think one of the wonderful things about this change and the innovation that we had to do to this virtually is we get a chance to hear from people who otherwise wouldn't be able to meet with us face to face. And, here we have these elected officials, these key individuals. Now, tonight we also have someone very special that's joined us that wanted to say a few words to you as well. And, given what is happening in our nation and our communities right now, we feel very, very grateful to have this individual with us today. And so with that, I'd like to introduce from the Seattle Police Department, Adrian Diaz. And Mr. Diaz, maybe you can tell us a little bit about you, and then a message from yourself as well as from the chief of the Seattle Police Department.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I'm Adrian Diaz. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Seattle Police Department. I've been on this job for 23 years. So I like to think that I started out when I was 10 years old. So I've had a lot of experience. But I want to thank all of you for having me here. I'm honored to speak and honor all of those that have reached the level of Eagle Scout and your highest achievements. I do want to send a congratulations on behalf of Chief Carmen Best and the Seattle Police Department. Chief Best has been extremely busy during this challenging time and was unfortunately unable to be here. Chief Best is the national chair for the Exploring program because she knows the value in enriching our youth and making this a better society. And that is what BSA's Eagle Scout program does. I wish I would have known about this program when I was growing up. But now, as one of the advisors for over 10 years, I know the importance that this program brings in teaching the core values of leadership excellence, character building, and good citizenship. I have watched over 8 of my police explorers go on to West Point. Some of them earned nursing and law degrees. But what is more important is you are the leaders in your community. You must know that as leaders, we don't have the luxury of putting that title aside. We must continue to lead in this most trying time. I know we are in the midst of these challenging times where race, poverty, policing, and so many other social issues are at the forefront. I give you 3 things that are some of the most important things that have helped me. First, you must continue to step out of your comfort zone. Second, stand for what is right. And third, be in it for the long haul. Change does not occur overnight, but it must start by you identifying the need and making it happen. All of you know this because of the process it took to get you to reaching the status of an Eagle Scout. Remember, you all have this one point in time to lead. I know one day I will retire and one of you will need to step in my role. Congratulations on this monumental achievement. That is just one step in your overall growth. Thank you, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Diaz, for joining us. And our best wishes, thoughts, and prayers are with you and with all the police department and all of our community. And we certainly hope that that we see change and we see calm and we see peace. Thank you for all you do. Please send our messages to the entire force.
Thank you so much. We'll do.
Okay, well, now we get to come into one of the most exciting parts of the night. And we get to talk about some of the individuals that are going to receive scholarships from the award or from the council. And so, first of all, what I'd like to do is just recognize the scholarship review committee. So we could show the slides. To Larry, to Dave, and Carlene, this is a monumental task as these incredible scouts submit their submissions and look to receive these awards. So to Larry Garrett, to Dave Geddes, and to Carleen Kennedy, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for the time and energy to make these super hard decisions. And so with that, I'm going to turn over to Larry, and Larry's going to walk us through the 4 scholarship awards and the individuals who received those from the council this year.
Thank you, Brad, and good evening to the Eagle Scouts, their proud families, and supporters of scouting. I am Larry Garrett, and a fellow Eagle Scout. Our Chief Seattle Council scouting community has contributed to the legacy of successive generations of Eagle Scouts by offering financial support and encouragement to the newest Eagles in our area as they head to college and take on careers beyond. This contribution comes in the form of 4 scholarships to support Eagles going to college. On behalf of the Chief Seattle Council Scholarship Committee, I have the honor of recognizing the recipients of our 4 Eagle Scout Scholarship Award recipients. The Scholarship Committee, I can tell you, had a very difficult task as we had a tremendous number of very qualified and interesting applications to consider this year. We read reports of Eagle projects, community service hours completed, and examples of commitment to the ideals of scouting, all of which were very impressive. As this applicant pool is a sample of the quality of this year's Eagle class, I can say it is an incredible group of young men who are proud to be called Eagle Scouts. The first scholarship area is the Major General Howard and Bessie McGee Eagle Scout Scholarship. This comes from a donor that wanted to support the development of youth leadership in this community. And while the McGees were not themselves involved in scouting, they chose to support Eagle Scouts as it represents the best youth leadership development program available. Anthony Lee is the first recipient of this scholarship. So in a moment, I'm going to turn over to Anthony and ask Anthony to tell us the college you plan to attend, the intended area of study, and if you had to say now, what career do you hope to achieve? Anthony?
Hello, my name is Anthony. This incoming fall, I will be attending the University of Missouri Kansas City School of Medicine. I plan to be majoring in biology for 2 years on their pre-medical track, and then I will be attending their medical school for the other remaining 4 years. And then I hope to become a physician by the end of these 6 years. Could you please repeat your last question?
Sure thing. No, you've covered it, but I've got another question, Anthony. Tell us about your favorite scout trip and why.
My favorite scout trip was probably when my troop went on this backpacking trip in the Sammamish area to do this hike called the Tiki Torch hike. I really enjoyed it because we got to go climbing and like backpacking in the snow, and there was just a great sense of camaraderie between the other scouts and I, and we also just got to really enjoy the snow, and it was a little different from the other backpacking trips, I guess.
Excellent. And I'm sure you've had people along the way that have helped you out. Often we call these mentors. If you could identify one mentor to say thank you to, could you go ahead and think about that and then give us their name and tell them what position or what role they had in your scouting career?
Yes, I would like to say thank you to my assistant scoutmaster, Mr. Ebner, for helping me throughout my scouting journey. I think that he has been like a great role model of someone who I've always wanted to be like. He's a very responsible person, and the way he handles situations in a very calm manner is very inspiring. He's always been there for me whenever I've needed help, like when I was just a tenderfoot or scout rank, whenever like I really didn't know anyone in my troop yet. He was always there for me, and in my first campouts, he offered to help me set up my tent, and like he like guided me on like how to like cook some certain things for my merit badge. And then yeah, I think he was just a really positive, like he has left a great positive impact on my life. And yeah.
Great. Thank you, Anthony Lee. It's been a pleasure to interact with you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next recipient of the McGee Scholarship is Cruz Strom. So Cruz, you're starting to figure things out. You've probably been thinking about it. So tell us the college you plan to attend, your area of study, and if you had to say now, what career you hope to be in the future. Cruz, you might be muted, so how about you unmute and try it? Or we're gonna. All right, last call. Okay. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to move on to our next recipient. The next scholarship is with the support of Alaska Airlines. The Bruce Kennedy Scholarship was created to honor the humanitarian work of a longtime CEO of Alaska Airlines. Bruce was a distinguished Eagle Scout who not only led the airline to significant growth, but would just as much be remembered for the time he took to volunteer with his church and on behalf of Scouting. Alex Bowman is the recipient of this scholarship. Alex? Alex, we're going to tell us about your college you plan to attend, your area of study, and if you had to say now, the career that you hope to be involved in.
Yes, I'm going to Purdue University next year. I'm going to be going to the College of Engineering, hopefully studying either aerospace engineering and or computer science, something like that.
Excellent. And what if you had to pick one of the merit badges that you learned the most from, which one was it and why?
Oh, that's tough. I would say life-saving. Just because when I got that merit badge, I was a lifeguard at Camp Pickett that year, and I learned a lot about swimming and technique, and I just learned how to learn a whole lot about lifeguarding to get that merit badge and be able to teach it and to be a lifeguard that year.
Great. You might have heard the introduction to who a mentor is along the way. No doubt various people helped you, gave you encouragement, perhaps even a kick in the behind along the way. Who would you like to identify as a mentor in your process and say thank you to, and why?
I've been a part of 3 separate troops, so I've really got to know a lot of people in the Order of the Arrow a lot, my local chapter. And so I'd like to thank Mr. Wilson for, and Mr. Hoople as well for kind of both being there for me in the OA and helping me learn a lot about the Order of the Arrow and furthering my scouting experience through that. They've been there for me a lot.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah,
we wish you the best.
The
final scholarship is the Robert J. Capps Scoutmaster Scholarship, which was established to honor the life work of a longtime Scoutmaster who impacted many scouts in his troop and later as a camp staff commissioner at Camp Brinkley. Connor Huey is the recipient of this scholarship. Connor, tell us about your college plans and area of study and career goals.
And funny thing is, I'm actually a junior, so I still got time to think about the college application process. But you know, University of Washington and UCSD, University of California, San Diego, they're looking like pretty good options for me right now. I'm thinking of maybe something along the lines of history or political science or economics, and career-wise, maybe become a professor or something, actually.
Okay. Connor, what was the last merit badge you earned for Eagle, and why did it take you so long?
The last, it was fiscal management. You know, it's like it's the 90-day. You got to keep all the logs of all your expenditures, income, and stuff like that. And that it took a lot of discipline to get that one done.
Okay. And finally, so who was your mentor that you would most like to identify tonight and say thank you to, and why?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you to my Scoutmaster, Mr. Tom Bogan, for all his guidance and support throughout the years. You know, a lot of the lessons he taught, a lot of the wisdom he's imparted on me, not only me, but also all the scouts throughout the years, has certainly been invaluable in everything I've done throughout my life. I just want to say thank you for everything he's done.
Great. Thank you, Connor, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And a final congratulations to all of these excellent scholarship award recipients, and also to all of the Eagle Scouts of the 2019-2020 year for the Chief Seattle Council. It's a great year group of Eagle Scouts that are going to go on to great things, and dare I say, we're in good hands. Thank you. Back to you, Brad.
Thank you, Connor.
Hey, thank you so much, and congratulations, everybody. Man, I wish that I got a scholarship coming out of high school with the Scouts. That would have been such an amazing help for me. Well, I'll tell you, to the 4 boys who are the recipients, there were lots and lots of submissions. And you think about it, you really got some of the most amazing young men that are making these submissions. So it really is incredible recognition. Now, we did want to show one additional video here. Give me just 1 second to get this up here, and then we'll be ready. Just 1 second.
Hello, I'm Jeff Renner, former Scoutmaster for Troop 615 in Kirkland. First and foremost, congratulations on becoming an Eagle Scout. It's a rare accomplishment. And while we wish we could be there and congratulate you in person and share the day with you, know that the qualities that you exhibited, the hard work, the dedication, the leadership, the service to community, not only are those going to serve you very well in the coming years, but also all those you come in contact with. Again, my personal congratulations to you, your troop, and your family.
Hey guys, this is Robert Munn, formerly of Troop 557 in Redmond, Washington. And I am an Eagle Scout, and I wanted to send a special congratulations to all of you who have accomplished this incredible award in 2020. Attaining Eagle is an incredible honor and something that you're going to remember for the rest of your lives. So really enjoy this night, even though we can't all have it together, and good luck in your futures.
Hi everybody, I'm meteorologist Ben Derry, Eagle Scout of Troop 127, and I just wanted to say congratulations to all of the brand new Eagle Scouts of the Chief Seattle Council. What an amazing accomplishment. You are an example of what it means to be an outstanding citizen, and you should be proud. Don't forget to keep on exploring, continue to serve your communities, and keep on camping, because camping is intense. Take care.
So we want to now transition to what we call the Eagle Scout Challenge. And the Eagle Scout Challenge has been a core part of the Eagle Banquet for many, many years. And Fred will introduce us to the history of it. But with that, I want to turn the time over to Fred Grimm. Fred will introduce himself, and then he's going to walk into the Eagle Scout Challenge. And this, to me, is one of the most touching and one of the most important parts of the Eagle Banquet tonight. So with that, to you, Fred.
So the Eagle Scout Challenge, it's different this year. We're not all together in person, but as Scouts who improvise, I only have like 174 more of these to make tonight to get you all a virtual some more to celebrate yourselves becoming an Eagle. That's what we do. We improvise. We're Scouts. The trail's washed out. We head in another direction. The weather turns bad. We hunker down with our rain gear. We improvise. And after all, we know how to be prepared. There's crazy times right now, for sure, with the pandemic that's keeping us apart, and more specifically, recent days with regard to the death of George Floyd. And he's become a symbol for a lot of people, but you need to also remember that he is a person, first and foremost. We've all heard about the 6 degrees of separation, and it's true. We are in this all together. That point was really driven home to me on Monday. I had a call scheduled with a woman in Atlanta, Cherise Yvette, a friend of mine, got to know this past year, helping me on a project. And she texted me back and said that she couldn't talk right now, and she wanted to postpone the call to this coming Friday. She said it was a tough time for her family, and explained that George Floyd is her cousin. So she is 1 degree removed from being on the cement where George's life ended. I'm 2 degrees removed, and all of you listening to me are now 3 degrees removed from George. We're in this all together. She texted me, she talked about George had a deep love for his family, his community, and God. and that his biggest mission was to encourage Black men to be the greatest they could be, and that he was a true example of that. And she had a video of him when he says, "One thing about old Floyd is I love the world. Ask anybody that knows me." So George Floyd was a real person that we can all have some affinity towards. And a lot of people ask, what can we do? Well, Zachary Shoemaker, what can you do? What can you do, Matthew Benedict of Troop 360? Well, you're Eagles. You've all earned the Citizenship in the World Merit Badge. You've earned the Citizenship in the Nation Merit Badge. You've earned the Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. And yes, you've earned the Communications Merit Badge. So start there. Communicate. Start talking. Start talking about race. Start talking about equality. Start talking about justice. And talk to people that you might think be a little different than you are, and try to find something in common with them. And more than anything else, be an Eagle Scout. Listen. Listen to them. Have a real communication. The Eagle Scout Challenge started 26 years ago by a gentleman named Phil Smart Sr. For 18 years, he challenged the Eagle class, and I've had the privilege of doing the last 8 years. And there's a story about Phil Smart that he had he'd often speak around the community, and one time a young Cub Scout came up to him and said, "Mr. Smart, were you ever an Eagle Scout?" He looked at the young boy and said, "No, son, I am an Eagle Scout." So we all need to live like that. That will do so much for our community, our country, and the world, is to be an Eagle Scout. So I'd like to see if I can pull up Thaddeus Driscoll.
Here I am.
Let me ask you, who are you?
I'm an Eagle Scout.
And how long have you been an Eagle Scout?
Forever.
So at this point, I would say, Thaddeus, nice work. So Thaddeus, I'm going to give you some money. I'm going to give you $1,000 here, and I'm going to give it to you under one condition, actually two conditions. One, that you come back next year and tell everybody what you did with the money. And number two, remember the Scout oath to help other people at all times when you make your decision as to what to do with that money. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so now there's a beta test of this whole Teams thing that the Microsoft's working on, and I'm going to see if it works today. Thaddeus, try to virtually appear if you can. Hello. Okay, there we go. So I don't know what happened to your chair. But Thaddeus, thank you for being a good sport tonight, and we look forward to having you come back next year and report what you did with the money. And I'd like to ask you to just sit here, and while we're going to watch a video of what last year's winners did, and feel free to make yourself a fresher some more. Thank you. Okay, Brad, you want to roll the video?
Hi, I'm Jeremy. And I'm Dylan. And last year we were given the Phil Smart Challenge. We chose to work with the Monroe Public School Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting students and staff in the Monroe School District. Because of time constraints, we weren't able to create an original project all to ourselves, but we tried to decide where we were most blessed, and this organization came to mind because we've personally been helped by them, and many other people we knew were helped by them. The foundation has many different programs to help students and staff in the district, and they're not just funded by large corporations, but also by individual teachers and employees of the district. Here's a list of the foundation's goals, some of which is supporting students and staff, looking for scholarships that students can get, as well as building a permanent endowment fund to make scholarships for students in the district. The program is the All Hazards Emergency Kits, which is a emergency kit. They want to have one in every classroom in the school district. That would be for any emergency situation, such as a natural disaster or potential violent situation. So these emergency kits contain, the full list is to the right.
We want to say thanks to Frederick Grimm, who nominated us for this challenge last year, for this opportunity to help our community. And thank you all for your time and listening to us, and have a great evening.
Okay. We were talking here to ourselves, saying that next year Thaddeus is going to come on, and he's going to hopefully be in person, right? Mm-hmm. Come home from, is it University of Denver? Yep. Yeah. And report to us what you did with the money, and that you didn't blow it, right? Yep. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause, virtual or otherwise, to Thaddeus Driscoll. Now back to you, Brad.
Hey, congratulations, Thaddeus. That's a tall order. $1,000 is amazing what I think you can do with $1,000. But look forward to hearing from you next year and what you were able to do with it. So now I'd like to roll into our keynote speaker, and we really are pleasure. It really is a pleasure tonight to have Billy Price with us. And rather than giving an introduction, I'm just going to turn the time over to Billy and let Billy introduce himself to you, because it is quite an amazing story. And so with that, if we could actually have Billy on one side and the slides on the other, let's turn it over to Billy and hear about Billy's story and his determination. To you, Billy.
All right, thank you so much, Brad. I got to say, it is such an absolute honor to be a part of this. I really don't have the words to truly express, my feelings here. Listening to all the words that everyone said thus far, talking about the mentorship, talking about their experiences, talking about like what class they got their Eagle Scout. I got to say, I started thinking about the year that I got my Eagle Scout. It was 1993. And it was a bit of a flashback here, because I realized that was 27 years ago, and that was a lot longer than I really thought it was. So one, it amazed me it was 27 years ago, because that time went so fast, but also it really resonated with me because the experiences I had being in scouting and being on the path to becoming Eagle, it's still very much with me. And to think about all that occurred on that path to become Eagle, and then now all that has happened since then, it's been said before, you guys are just getting started, and you truly are. And you guys have this amazing, like so much in your tool belt right now to be able to do great, great things. So with that, I was asked to come and kind of share my story. And I'm hoping that my story, I hope it'll resonate with you. I hope you find some value in it, because when I was growing up, I was just I guess I would be considered kind of a typical kid. I was very active in the outdoors. I was very active in sports. Just a lot of great things were happening with me in scouting, going on the hikes, going on the camping trips, being on staff at various camps, being a camper, just a lot of great things. But I will say that my life took a bit of a detour, and it was when I was a freshman in college. So I was 18 years old, and I was going to the University of Washington, and there was one particular night where I was it was about 2.5 weeks into school. I was living in a fraternity, and one particular night I woke up outside on my back, leaning up or looking up at the front of the house, screaming for help. And I was very confused. I was laying there and I couldn't get up. And my arms, I could move my arms, kinda, but it was very strange. For some reason, something wasn't right. And as I say, I woke up screaming for help. And one of the guys in the house, they heard me, and they came outside, and they were standing above me, just kind of like looking down at me as I'm laying there. And they said, "Okay, let's go. Come on, let's get inside. Let's, why are you out here?" And I said, "I can't get up. Let's just pick me up." I told them to pick me up and take me inside. And that's what they did. And they went in and put me on the couch in the living room. And then I went to sleep, as did they. And it wasn't really until the next morning that everyone started realizing that something bigger had happened, because I was still laying on the couch and I wasn't really moving. And then the story started to get pieced together of what happened. And it was scary enough that they called 911. Not too much longer, there was an ambulance that showed up at the house. I was moved from the couch onto a backboard, and then I was put into the ambulance and rushed off to Harborview Medical Center. And there, I was put on the table of an operating table. And I remember I was laying on that table, and I was looking up at this light that was just shining right down on me. And there was just a lot of commotion and people moving around me. And they were working on me. They really were. There were nurses and doctors. But still, I was very much in this state of confusion, because for me, it was almost like a bad dream, because I went to sleep, I woke up outside, and then there was all this kind of weird stuff happening in between. And then now I'm in what was the emergency room. And as the people are working on me, I asked a few questions, and then I finally asked the big question. And the big question was, what happened? Why am I here? What is going on? Why am I not back at home? And one of the voices, it was a nurse standing by, she chimed in and she said the following, and their words I will never forget. And what she said was, last night you fell from a 3-story window. You broke your neck, you broke your back, you have a spinal cord injury, and you will never walk again. So when I heard that news, the life that I knew it came crumbling down. Because as I was laying there on the hospital bed, all I could think of was this. And that's what's pictured right there. All I could think about was my life. All I could think about was the things that I knew. I could think about, playing soccer and kicking the soccer ball into the goal and scoring that winning goal, or skiing as fast as you could possibly go down the hills, or jumping off cliffs on skis, or even not on skis, jumping into water. I could think about spending time with family. And I could think about those summers that I spent at Camp Parsons. The first year I was there as a camper. The following summer I went up with High Adventure. We went into the Olympic National Forest, and then I went again the next year, and I went again the next year. And then the following summer I was a CIT, and then I finally became a staff member. My first year on staff, I was a lifeguard. The second year on staff, I was a lifeguard. And then here we are. So the life that I knew could no longer be. It really couldn't. And all I could think about, this is what I was thinking about, but I couldn't think about it anymore, because instead I had to focus on this, which is the next slide. It was a life shattered. This was my new reality, and I did not have the tools to process this new reality. So what do you do? How on earth do you pick yourself up from a situation like this, where everything you knew is now gone, and you're down at square, well, I don't even know where you're at. You're at rock bottom. What do you do? Well, you got to focus on the people around you. You got to focus on the stuff that's in you, and you have to make a choice to move forward. Now, when you move forward, it's slow. It's very slow. But step by step, as you continue to grow, as you continue to stretch, as you continue to struggle, you improve and you make progress, and good things start happening. So the next slide. So here we go. So inch by inch, things started to come together. I started to, well, I don't know, figure out what wheelchair I was going to use. Have the wheelchair, figure out what wheelchair is going to replace my legs. Figure out how to eat, how to dress myself, how to write my name. I remember the first time I wrote my name, I wrote oh my gosh, well, I wrote my name at the bottom of a paragraph, just kind of thanking people for coming in to visit me in the hospital. And it must have been maybe 5 sentences, but it took me 30 minutes to do it, and my arm was exhausted. That was my starting point. But as I continued to kind of improve, and I'm not talking about improve as in function came back, I'm talking about improving, getting stronger with the muscles that I had, and being able to understand what I still had and do the best I could with it. So after being in the hospital for 5.5 months, I got discharged from the hospital. I actually went back to school. I figured since I had a 2.5-week dent in my college career, I might as well continue. I moved back into the fraternity that I was living in for 2.5 weeks. And it was awesome because it turned out that the house that I joined was, I think, the only house on the entire campus that didn't have stairs in front. That was very just dumb luck. But we built a kind of a bedroom on the first floor, and then installed a bathroom for me, and that's kind of where I did my college career. I had a power chair that I could bomb around all around campus, so things were going good. I was studying mechanical engineering, and that is just kind of something that I was kind of, I guess, encouraged to go in that direction. Growing up, I was always inquisitive about how things put together, wanting to understand how things work, and wanted to be able to use my hands to be able to put something together and also be able to take it apart. But kind of that just engineering mindset, trying to like understand, trying to take something and break down that problem to its smallest essence, and then to be able to come up with a solution to move forward. So things started to get good. So we can go to the next slide. And then after graduating from college, I ended up getting a job with the Federal Aviation Administration. I worked for the FAA for 16 years. And along the way, I kind of learned how to drive. I mentioned I took back the ski slopes as a sit skier. And then I always had the travel bug, but I married the love of my life, who also had the travel bug. So we traveled the world together. So here we are, some images here. In the upper right-hand corner, that's New Zealand. The upper middle, that's Moscow. The upper left, that is Ireland. In the middle, that's Paris. In the lower left, that is Iceland. And the lower right, that is Machu Picchu. And I will tell you right now that Machu Picchu is not wheelchair accessible. There are more stairs than you can possibly imagine. But when you're teamed with the right people, they were able to help me and lift me up all those stairs to get where I needed to go. And now the two of us, my wife and I, we now are proud parents, and we have a child who just turned a year and a half. And boy, the world's a lot different when you're a parent, but it's been a very, very exciting world. So along the way, after breaking my neck and then going through rehab and then going back to school and then getting a job and learning how to drive and kind of taking back this independence that I thought I had lost, the one thing along this whole journey that eluded me was being able to put on my own shoes. So the next slide. Here it is. So I started my own shoe company, a shoe company by the name of BILLY Footwear. But it wasn't just me alone. I teamed with a buddy, and I kind of pitched this idea to him. He was working on his own shoe project. And I said, you know what? I bet if we put a zipper in a shoe, and we had that zipper go around the outside and around the toe, where the whole upper of the shoe folds over, and you drop your foot in flat, so it's unobstructed, that unobstructed drop-in solution. I bet if we did that, I bet I'd be able to put my shoes on again. So since he already has some contacts in place, we made a prototype, and it ended up working exactly the way we envisioned. So I broke my neck at 18. We made this prototype when I was 36, and that was the first time I was able to put my shoes on again independently. So literally half a lifetime later, I was able to take back some independence that I had lost. And that moment was so special that we had to share it with the world. So our small little idea, our small little shoe company, all of a sudden got on the shelves of Nordstrom. We got teamed up with Zappos. We got into Macy's. We got into Kids Foot Locker. We started our own e-commerce, and now we sell shoes around the planet. So it was this small little idea that grew into something much, much bigger. And the part that I love about it is along the way, it was all about in the spirit of adding value. So our mission statement is to add value. We want to do our best. We want to be a company of success, but we want to have more than that. We want to be a company of significance. We want to strive to add value to the lives of others and make a measurable difference in the world one foot at a time. Now those words, I mean, okay, I guess we kind of cooked those up, but that stuff right there, that derives from scouting. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and country, to obey the Scout Law, help other people at all times. I will be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind. The 52 words that make up the Scout Oath and Law, that is what is within us. That is what we live by. And I just have to say that the stuff that I learned in Scouts along the way, I mean, I was told that, you know, being an Eagle Scout, that would look great on a resume, but it's more than that. If it's on the resume, that could be just kind of a box that you check, but it's the experiences that you have, the struggles, the growth you go through while being on that journey to become Eagle Scout, the people you interact with, and people that you become friends with, lifetime friends with, and then you use those tools to pay it forward. That is the mission. That is the goal, to add value. So I mean, that's kind of, I mean, again, I don't really have the words to say everything, but that's truly my heart, and that's what I wanted to share. So.
All right, well, let's just kind of leave it right here, and I'll ask you a couple of the questions that the Scouts had submitted. So let's just leave it here with that picture of you and your mission statement and you. First of all, there were close to 100 questions that were asked from the Scouts, so thank you for submitting that. We kind of looked at them and tried to group them into some of the most common ones. So a couple of questions. First of all, what would you wish you had known as a youth that you know now?
Wow, that's such a great question. That is such a great question. And I got to say, like, this evening, listening to the previous speakers, there was a lot of talk about mentorship. And there was also talk about kind of a know your association. You know, when you get your Eagle, you have to do that project. Well, you're not going to do the project all on your own. You have to rely on the people around you to help. So what I wish I would have known earlier, the words I wish that someone would have told me, is really the importance of mentorship. And when I say mentorship, I mean, we all have idols, you know, people that we look up to, and that could be some sort of star athlete, but there really isn't any sort of connection to that person. I mean, you can see them on television and whatnot and see how they perform in sports, but, you know, you don't have that interaction with them. And to be able to, like, within our Scout troops, within the leadership, there are so many people within that program, within that troop, that we can connect with and see who the go-getters are, see who the people are that, you know, we can really just like pay attention to and follow in their footsteps to be able to, you know, not make the same mistakes they did. You know, I've heard that it's good to learn from your mistakes, but if you're able to learn from the mistakes of others, you're building on the shoulders of giants. I was told that when you're walking through a minefield, it's best to follow in the footsteps of someone before you, because you step out of there, you'll get yourself blown up. So why not follow in the footsteps that someone's already led the path and then build from there? So early on, I wish I would have been more in the know on mentorship, and I wish I would have paid more attention about building the association.
Great answer. Okay, next question. What do you think is the largest fact or personality trait that's been instrumental in your life and your success?
Wow. Okay, that's another big one. I would say, you know, I mean, perseverance for sure, tenacity, grit, but I would say the number one, I mean, that's the stuff that kind of motivates you to get off the couch and go do something. But I would say that the one personality trait that is so important, and if you lose it, it's really hard to get it back. And that's integrity. You really have to have that integrity. And that is the Scout oath and law to a T. Like following, if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. I mean, having your word. If you can keep your word, man, if you lose your word, you really don't have much. But if you can keep your word and have that integrity, that's good. That's a pillar. That's a pillar of strength right there.
100% agree. Okay, what's the best piece of advice that you received?
Oh boy, the best piece of advice. You know, my dad used to always say, when you fall down, you got to get back up. Just keep getting back up. When you knock down, you got to get up. When you trip and fall and you land face first in the mud, you got to get up. And I would say that is some of the top advice that I ever got. But now being a little bit older, I realized that advice was just a little bit incomplete. Now, the advice is great, but the big thing is when you get knocked down, it's good to get yourself back up, but it's good to understand and reflect on what knocked you down. Because if you get knocked down and get back up and knocked down and get back up, you can just turn yourself into a punching bag. But if you get knocked down and you get yourself back up and you reflect on what went wrong and you're able to make an adjustment, that's when you truly succeed. Now, you talk about failure. I mean, oftentimes we think that the road to success is like you fail or you don't. It's like a choice. Like you either go this way or you go that way. But the road to success is just riddled in failure. You fail after you fail after you fail after you fail. You just keep moving forward. But you move forward because you fail, you make an adjustment, you go forward. You fail, you make an adjustment, you move forward. You fail, you make an adjustment, you move forward. That is what you need to do. That is what we need to do. That's how we get stronger. That's how we learn and reflect and just, that's how to me, I think that's what makes it successful, is just like learning from our failures, moving forward.
Okay, final question, and then we'll turn it over to you for the final word here on this. What inspires and motivates you? What's your drive?
Wow. Well, so here's the thing. When I fell out of that window, I fell three stories head first to concrete. And if you do the math on that, it normally doesn't work out so well, So just the fact that I survived is, arguably a miracle. And the fact that landing headfirst to concrete, that my brain's still intact, I'd say that's pretty miraculous as well. So I would say that ever since October 9th, 1996, since I've been paralyzed from the chest down, living my life as a quadriplegic, every day since then, I've been living on bonus time. And because of that, there really isn't an excuse to have a bad day, because it's a day that I really arguably couldn't have had. So what motivates me is I want to make the most of each day. And the way I try to do that is to pay it forward and add value.
All right, make the most of each day. I'll make sure I write that down for myself. All right, so let's move to this final slide here and have you give us some parting words.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. And Brad, thank you again so much. I mean, this is just such an honor. So here it is. So I say all this. I mean, everything that I talked about. I mean, by no means am I saying this to try to put myself up on a pedestal. I'm not trying to say like, look at me, like what. That's not me. What I want to try to illustrate is, inside of us, we have so much potential. We have so much potential. And it's just a matter of us tapping into that and making a choice to move forward. So I read a book recently. It's called The Traveler's Gift. And there was an excerpt, or there was a line right there that I just saw, and it just really touched my heart. And I just want to share this with you because I hope you'll get a lot out of it. And I don't have it memorized, so I got to read it, so forgive me. But it says, there comes a time in every person's life where a decision is required. And that decision, should you make it, will have a far-reaching effect on generations yet unborn. There is a thin thread that weaves from only you, to hundreds of thousands of lives. Your example, your actions, and yes, even one decision that you make will literally change the world. Now, when I read this, and I talk about that one choice. My choice was when I was in the hospital. And what happened was, when I was laying on that hospital table, my life was done. The life that I knew was gone. And I remember just being polluted with this mindset that it was not worth living if you couldn't walk. And it scared me. It truly did. It scared me. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I am on this path to destruction. I had no idea what it looked like, but I knew it wasn't going to be good. And it scared me so much that it shot me into a different lane. It shot me into a lane of like, you know what? I need to let that go. And I need to focus on what I have and do the best with what I have. And I just challenge you guys, like, focus on what you have. Is everyone good at math? No. Is everyone good at writing? No. But you have strengths. Focus on your strengths. Focus on what is in your tool belt. Focus on what scouting has shown you and taught you and the people that surround you. Focus on that stuff and keep growing. If you think of a book, think about how many pages are in a book. You are in your early chapters and you have a great, great start. Now it's time to write the rest of your book.
And if you want to learn more about Billy, here's the website, his social pieces. Billy, as you and I have had a chance to touch base for the last couple of months, it's been inspiring. I am motivated. I'm inspired by you, both as a person and as an entrepreneur. And thank you for taking the time. Please accept our gratitude and for taking your time to give back to this community. Eagle class of 1993. That's just great. Congratulations. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I think we actually, if we can just take a minute, we should go back, and we have Cruz back on the line. Okay, Cruz, as one of the recipients of the scholarship, we wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and if you can just give us some answer, like what are your plans? Do you have a university that you're planning to go to? What would you like to study? And maybe tell us what your favorite camp and your favorite merit badge was.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I plan on attending Colorado School of Mines to study mechanical engineering. My favorite camping trip, I have to say, was probably Northern Tier. I did that with a bunch of my friends. It was kind of a last hurrah before our senior year. I really enjoyed that. And then favorite merit badge, I would have to say personal management. I learned a lot of life skills from that one.
Well, congratulations again on receiving the scholarship. My undergraduate degree is actually in mechanical engineering as well, so it's a great degree to go get. Best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cruz, and congratulations. Okay, with that, I'd like to turn the time over for the last thing on our agenda tonight, and that is really to recognize all of you, the young men who have earned their Eagle, and as part of that too, to recognize your Scoutmasters, your parents, your friends, and everybody else who helped enable that. And so with that, we've asked John Carlson from KVI News Radio to say a few words. And while John is speaking, we're going to have all of the names scroll by in alphabetical order. So if you're interested in taking a picture of your name on the screen, please do it. We'd love it if you could post it to your social media and call out Chief Seattle Council and Boy Scouts of America or Scouts of America. We would love for you to do that. So with that, John, let me turn it over to you.
Can you hear me okay?
Sound great, John.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
We can hear you
Famous
now.
words. Very, very good. Brad, thank you very much. And camera feature isn't working. Believe me, the picture is much better than real life anyway, in my case. So thank you for running that. And congratulations to all the Eagle Scouts who are attending tonight's recognition. I'll tell you what is special about being an Eagle Scout. This is the one credential, the one thing that you do as a teenager that will be on your resume for the rest of your life, because it will impress people, whether they are looking through your college application, whether they are looking your military application, whether they are looking at your job application, and they see Eagle Scout and they know what it means. It means that you managed to achieve one huge achievement, one step at a time. Some of you have been working 1/3 of your lives for the rank of Eagle. So when Mr. Grimm says, I am an Eagle Scout forever, that's what Phil Smart, legendary scouter, great leader, and community leader, used to always say, I am an Eagle Scout. That's why it matters. It tells everyone that you know the importance of following through, that you see the big picture, but you still focus on the little details that are extremely important if you want to achieve your Eagle project. And like Billy said, when you're an Eagle Scout, it shows that you have fallen down like everybody else, but you also figured out why, and you got back up. I know people, very important people, famous people, who have accomplished a lot, but when I asked them, one guy I know in particular, one of America's most premier neurosurgeons, brain doctor, what he regrets in life, he said, I'll tell you what I regret is that when I was 15, I was a life scout, and I quit scouts instead of getting my Eagle. To this day, that famous neurosurgeon regrets that decision. Still accomplished a lot, but he always wished he had made the Eagle, that he had earned the Eagle. You know, I'm holding two scout books in front of me right now. One of them is from 1948. The other is, well, the current edition that we're using. And I noticed the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in both of these handbooks is exactly the same. That's because scouting and its virtues are timeless. They will always matter. They will always make a difference. They will always mark that Eagle Scout as someone who not only showed diligence and perseverance and intellect, but here's the important part, also showed character. At this time of year, usually when there are high school and college graduation ceremonies, we hear a lot about how important it is to develop your mind and build your intellect. But I will tell you, the real route to success in everything, personal life, family life, as a neighbor, as an employee or an employer, as a student, whatever it is, the real route to success is through character. And that is what scouting builds. And your signature achievement, becoming an Eagle Scout, shows that you persevered and showed the character necessary to attain and tonight to celebrate this magnificent achievement. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to address you as Eagle Scouts this evening.
Thank you so much, John.
Welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, as always, we appreciate all that you do for the Scouts and the time and energy you put in. Well, this is finishing. Let me give a quick Scoutmasters moment, and there really are three things that I want to touch on as we wrap up this this amazing event. First, at Microsoft, my job, what I do is I lead large software teams at the organ at Microsoft. And in my 17 years at the company, I have built multiple billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar businesses for the company. And I'll tell you, to this day, when I look at resumes, I look for an Eagle Scout. My resume still says that I am an Eagle Scout. And I earned that in 1982. It is something that I look at, because to me, what it tells me is here is a young person who was dedicated and committed and could finish the job as a young person, and if they were showing that kind of aptitude and dedication and grit in their childhood, they're probably going to show it in their adult work. That's the first piece. Second piece, I want to build on what Billy talked about on integrity. I just want to share a quick story. My father passed away a couple of years ago, but yet one of the memories I have of my father was when I was 16, about the age of many of you. And I had to go to traffic court in the little town that I was raised in Salt Lake City. And the judge in this traffic court, his name was Judge Searle, and his name fit. You know, this was a man who was ornery and surly. And when I was 16 years old, get in a contest, I weighed about 100 pounds, and so I was kind of a force to be reckoned with, if you will. But I had to go to traffic court. My father came with me, and unbeknownst to me, right before I stepped up to stand in front of the judge, his assistant had passed him a note and said, "Hey, go easy on this kid. He's a good kid." And so I had my conversation with the judge, and when he was finished, he said, and I'll never forget this, he said, Brad, I want you to know, your father has more integrity than any person I've ever met in my life. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, what's behind that? And so we finished up, we got in the car, and I asked my dad what that statement was about. And he went on to share, you know, he was a leader in our church, and he had done an awful lot of work to help people through a whole number of issues, and sometimes that involved, you know, needing to have the courts involved. And he had worked, you know, many times with this particular judge. And then he said the following to me, and this mirrors what Billy said. I mean, this was literally this was something my father told to me in 1983, and it's as clear as bell in my ears today, and is core to who I am and what I believe. He said the following. He said, Brad, no person can take your integrity away. You have to give it away. And once you've given it away, it is out of your power to take it back. It has to be given back to you. And so one piece, just like what Billy said, as I think about the Scout oath, the Scout motto, all of the attributes and the characteristics that Scout stands for, I think integrity is a word that encompasses all of it. And so my advice to you is, in all aspects of your life, have integrity. The third thing, final close with, please, as you continue to grow, pay back the amazing time and energy that others put in on your behalf. I was 23 when I was first called to be a Scoutmaster, and I was a Scoutmaster for 15 straight years. And it was incredibly rewarding. But I'll tell you, some of the men that I remember in my life, some of the most fun times that I remember is when I was at Scout Camp, and these leaders taught me, but they also had fun with me. So please, as you continue to grow and you know your life continues to expand and grow, please pay it back. So, you know, those three things are things that I would hope that you really, you know, think about. You know, this concept of you've demonstrated grit and determination, have that as a core part of your life. Integrity, a core part of your life. And then please, with that, pay it forward. And with that, let me just say congratulations to all of you. Thank you for, you know, your effort. Thank you to parents and to Scoutmasters and everybody who supported you. And if you haven't already done this, you know, I would ask you to, you know, give your parents a hug, send an email to your Scoutmaster. Just do something to let these individuals in your life help them understand how much you appreciate it. And with that, we will bring to a close the 59th annual Eagle Scout Banquet for the Chief Seattle Council. Congratulations, and be safe, everybody.